What's up guys, Willie Shaw here, and today I want to talk to you guys about my essentialism journey and how I'm tracking how I pursue less but better. Let's go into it. So I've always had this thing backwards, this idea that I could always take on more, do more, and there's always time to fit just a little bit more in, right? This idea is something that has been with me since I was a little kid, and trying to always squeeze in more, do more, is a full recipe for me to burn out. And it leaves me just really wanting to, if I'm being quite honest, do less. I heard this quote and it really stuck with me. It said, "I can't overestimate how important most of the things we do are." I've been thinking about that quote, and as I pursue my essentialism journey, one thing that's constantly in the back of my mind is, and what I'm doing right now, is that task essential? But if it's not essential, how can I replace it? How can I do something that is? Now, I'm not a robot, and so I can't just reprogram my mind to do the most important things at all times. I'm only human, and so that means I'm also easily distracted. Things like watching TV, cleaning my house, as silly as that seems, and even scrolling through YouTube are things that can be non-essential tasks when there's something more essential that you should be doing. It can be quite confusing knowing what to do and what not to do, what's important and what's not important. So for me, the question arose, how can I find out what's important? And then once I do find out that thing, how can I, more importantly, track that? That's where I discovered habit tracking. We all have these things that we want to do, things that we've deemed as important, and we know that they're important, but we just simply don't do them. Habit tracking is a way to not only track your habits, but to have a visual cue of how good or how bad you're doing at something. How to measure the person you are today versus the person you are yesterday and the person that you are becoming. For me, the idea was simple. I wrote down things that I wanted to do, things that I think were important to me and important to the person that I wanted to become. Then I divided them into 3 categories: a daily task, a weekly task, and a monthly task. Now this was a range of different things. My daily tasks consisted of things like doing push-ups, going for runs, and reading the Bible. Some of the weekly things I wanted to track were things like vacuuming out my car. As silly as that sounds, when you have 2 kids, the car can get dirty pretty fast. And so, yeah. Also things like cutting the grass. And the one that I think is really important is at the end of the week, just doing a quick review of how I've done and doing the things that I think are essential and important to me. The way I tracked this was simple. On one side of a piece of paper, I wrote down the things that I wanted to complete, and at the top of that paper, I put down the date. And a simple X marked whether I completed that task, and if I didn't complete the task, I left the spot blank. As I began to get momentum in completing tasks, it is extremely rewarding to look back and see all the filled-in X's. And at the same time, it was really revealing to see a lot of empty spaces and things that I thought I would be able to do as no-brainers. And while some of the tasks that I thought would be hard to do, I have plenty of X's on them. So they're tasks that have been coming a lot more natural for me. This revealed something to me, and it was, if these things were deemed as important and I wasn't completing them, how could I do that? And that's where habit stacking comes in. Habit stacking is this idea that you already have a habit in place, a good habit that you want to then grow upon. Something as simple as going for a run becomes going for a run, then working out, then having a smoothie, and then doing the dishes. With habit stacking, I've been able to can easily go from one task to the other without a lot of resistance. And so for me, this is a formula that has worked time and time again. So these two things, habit stacking and habit tracking, are things that I've been doing to keep track of my essentialism journey and making sure that I continuously pursue the less but better. And I want to leave you with this quote by Seth Godin. It said, "What gets measured gets improved." Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.